Good morning. How is everyone
Good morning.
today?
Doing good.
It's
Awesome.
Friday. Friday is my
That's a good
favorite.
thing. Yep.
So I'm Rachel, and this is Tim and Grant. Tim and I are with Rachel Gallegos Group, if you didn't already know. Grant Alexander is one of our favorite lenders. He's with Rapid Home Finance. We have him here today. We just want to kind of go over and talk about, what's going on in the market, what's going on with interest rates. Our plan is to do this once a month, talk about, what's happening so that we can keep all of you informed and in the know for those who like to follow the market or, need to follow the market. But we'll start with Grant. We would love to hear from you and see kind of what has happened with interest rates. I know, there was expected changes or there might be changes. So let's hear a little bit about what's going on your side of the world.
Yeah. So, especially this week, interest rates have still been at really good levels. We've had a couple times where we've got some notifications of interest rates on the rise, but it wouldn't be anything, in my opinion, to be worried about. We're talking about, rates are still more than likely going to be in the twos, even if you're going government loans like VA, FHA, rural development, or conventional loans also. The only time I think you're probably going to hop up into a higher rate category is if you are maybe buying an investment property, multi-unit, possibly a condo, or doing like a cash out refinance. Sometimes you can hop up there, but even then, I've had a couple cash out refinances this week that were still at rates in the twos, so they're really good. One of the things I wanted to point out, so with rates being really good right now, you could be in the threes with your current mortgage on a 30-year fixed. And a lot of people are calling me looking at 15-year fixes to not only drop the rate, but get that house paid off sooner. One thing I wanted you to be aware of is this week was interesting because the 30-year rate was actually better than some 15-year rates. So in those situations, if you ever find that the interest rate for a 15-year and a 30-year are, either the opposite of what you think they are, where the 30 is lower, or they're really, really close, always take into consideration the risk factor of a 15. Because if you get a 30-year mortgage, you can always pay it off sooner. I don't know anyone out there right now doing loans that have prepayment penalties. So you can pay it off like a 15-year, and it gives you a lot more flexibility in your payment. If you need to make a 30-year payment 1 month, you can do that. But if you go with a 15-year, you're going to be locked in at that 15-year payment every single month. So if the interest rates are really close to each other from a 15 and a 30, consider maybe looking at a 30 just to give yourself some of that flexibility.
Yeah, I do feel like in the last year, especially with the rates going as low as they have, that gap has been bridged quite a bit between the 15-year and the 30. It used to be a much bigger gap. So there was a lot more benefits to doing a 15-year, especially if your payoff amount was low enough that it made it, the affordability was there to do it. And I'm seeing more and more that it's not as beneficial to do it right now because of how low those 30-year rates are right now.
Yeah, the situation I had this week was a veteran doing a VA to VA refinance. It's called an interest rate reduction refinance loan, or an ERL. And he was looking at a 15-year. So originally we were looking at 15-year rates, and he was getting quoted somewhere else at a 15-year at 2.25%, which is really, really low. And so I was able to beat that just by a little bit with no fees. However, I started looking and I'm like, actually on a 30-year, I can do it at 2.21. And with those types of loans, they're a lower rate because it's a government loan. It's a very streamlined loan that doesn't require any appraisal or income verification because it's a VA to VA refinance. Mm-hmm. So if you are a veteran out there and you currently have a loan, even if you thought you had a great rate at 3.3, you might want to look at the possibility of doing an interest rate reduction loan. And if you have any disability rating with the VA, or I should say any 10% or higher, you're not going to be liable for that funding fee. So it's a pretty good deal for you.
Yeah, that's cool. Any insight on what you're expecting in the next 30, 60, 90 days?
No, I mean, obviously with the new administration in office right now, there are some changes getting made. I haven't really seen any as far as like on the mortgage side. I do know for those that maybe have DACA loans that the FHA is now allowing DACA recipients to get financed. So maybe if you had someone that was DACA before and wasn't like, so that's the only like major change I've seen, but I mean, I would expect some maybe policy changes down the road that would affect us, but nothing quite yet.
Nothing. Yeah. Probably nothing in the first quarter of 2021.
Right.
All right. Is there anything else you got for us as far as mortgages go, interest rates go? Anything
No, I mean, I
know?
think if you're out there shopping for a home right now, it's very obvious that it's super competitive, right?
Mhm.
You know, if you're in any, I think I looked at houses in Granville ranging from $200,000 to $500,000, and there were 9 listings, and 5 of them weren't built yet.
Yeah.
So like there was 4 active listings within a $300,000 price range. So it's a good example that you're going to be under some competition. So one thing that we focus on at Rapid Home Finance is not only offering super competitive rates and no lender fees, but is speed. And I think speed solves a lot of problems. If you can I understand as a mortgage guy, I am not the fun part of the process, right? I am not like everyone wants a house. No one wants a mortgage, right? So I understand the quicker I get in and out, and that's a big selling point, I think, for sellers is to understand that they're not going to have the financing dangling over their head during that process. Get them in, get them out. And it doesn't mean you have to close as fast as that we can actually close. You know, maybe you still want to wait 25, 30 days. But if you can get financing, clear to close in a couple weeks, that's a big relief from all sides of the party. And I think it could be a big selling point when you're putting in an offer.
Yeah, absolutely. To be able to,
sure.
Yeah. Right now you have to, in this market, you got to be creative with your offers. So anything that we can do to add to that creativity and strengthen our clients' offers is a selling point.
Any advantage that you can leverage, you got to go for it.
You have to.
For sure.
Yep.
So, all right, Grant. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you next month when we review February. Yeah. So,
yep. Awesome.
All right. Enjoy the weekend.
All right. Take care.
Bye, Grant.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about real estate numbers and what we saw in January and how that compares to last month and last year, right? We're in a new year. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We weren't last January. So it's
always good to get perspective.
Yes.
Where we're at. There we are.
Okay. So in the middle there, we've got January 2021. We're not quite done this month yet, but there's probably not going to be a ton that will add to that data between now and Sunday.
Right.
So if you look at this month, we've got 179 sold listings in 1 month, which, without context, great. What does that mean? So here's some context, right? So we've got last year.
This is just Ottawa County. We're just looking at Ottawa County.
Yes.
Right here.
Yep. Yeah. Just Ottawa County. There's it's literally just sold listings in Ottawa County for January of 2021. So 179 this month. Now let's compare it, right? Let's compare it to last month. That's a huge jump, right? There was 316 sold listings last month.
Correct.
And 179 this month.
Right.
So some of that is normal, right? December, holidays, not as many homes go under contract, not as many homes get listed.
Right.
But that's a huge jump.
Certainly.
Now let's look at last year. We had 246 sold homes in January. So it's not just last month to this month. It's even last year this month to this year this month. So I think there's, a couple things that we, you and I talked about that contribute to that, one of which is probably the election, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think anytime we're in an election year, people are.
And we talked about the fact that, typically January, every year it's a seasonal thing. January is going to be one of your lower months just because the houses that you close in, like we said in January, went under contract in December, and fewer houses go under contract in December, given the holidays and all that. So January is going to be typically low anyway.
Yeah.
But we did see that it was lower than last year.
Yeah. Significantly lower.
Yeah. Not just a few, for sure.
So yeah, and like there's multiple things playing into that. There's the pandemic, it's an election year, it's just where we're at. But anyone who is connected to an agent that's heard or it just watches the market says there's no inventory.
And the reason that's it. The reason that fewer houses were sold is because there were fewer houses on the market. And so, like you said, that's what we refer to as inventory. There's not that many. The inventory is low, and Grant referred to that as well. Yeah. That's just where we're at right now. That's why we need to be, on our toes as far as being competitive with not only mortgage rates, but obviously we look at the average sale price is a little bit higher. And all that plays to the fact that the inventory is low.
Yeah, even look at the days on market, right?
Exactly.
The days on market from this year to last year is half. That's a huge jump. Huge. Even just from last month to this month. It's 6 days, doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're talking 30 days, that's almost a quarter of the days on market. So it's definitely a seller's market. Definitely a seller's market. If you've got to sell, you kind of are in a great situation to be able to do it. And I know a lot of people say it's hard because if you've got to buy, then you're, it's kind of a double-edged sword there. But
at the same time, like Grant said, interest rates are historically low. So therefore, even though it's a seller's market, a buyer has probably more buying power than they've ever had as well too. So, you got to play that together, and if you can make that work both ways, you're in it. That's a lot of folks can come out in a really good place.
Yeah, well, and I think the thing is that's why there's the importance of having an agent that you trust, right? Of course, absolutely. There's a risk factor involved if you say, you know what, we really would like a different house, or we really need something bigger, or we really want to downsize, but we are afraid because if we sell and we can't find something, then we're homeless. And that's kind of where a good agent comes into play that says, hey, there's processes for this, and there's strategies to make sure that you have that either in between plan or protect you to make sure that you don't have to leave your home until you do find something. So, and it's doable. That's the thing. We're in such a seller's market that buyers are giving lots and lots of grace and time for these sellers to go and find what they need, because they don't, if they, as long as they get their offer accepted. I mean, these buyers have just wrote 10 offers in the last 2 months. They'll give you the time. They don't want to keep writing offers. They don't want to keep looking at houses. So there's definitely options and ways to get it done. It's just a matter of having trust and taking the risk. So
having trust, taking the risk, and, being responsive quickly, it's one of those times where there's no, well, let's wait and see kind of, if you want to make a move on something and it's the right move, you need to move quickly. And that's again where a realtor comes into play in a big way to help navigate that process.
For sure. Yeah. It's definitely a process, and it's, one that if not gone through in the proper way, it can get messy, and it can get hard, and it can not turn out great. So
to me, I just think of it as, I was just going to say, this visual came that it's like trying to navigate rough seas. If you have a seasoned boat captain that can help you navigate it, but if you don't, you're going to be tossed and turned,
absolutely,
thrown every which way. So that's why you need a seasoned person at the helm to get you through it. And that's what we do for people.
Yeah, I actually was just listening to a podcast this morning that said something along the lines of a good real estate agent is not driving the car. A good real estate agent is holding the map, and the client is driving the car. And our job is to show you which way to go,
Sure.
and to show you which is the best path to take.
Yeah.
And you as the driver are the one, in control and
right.
either taking the easy path or taking the hard path. So
right, because we know where the hazards are.
Yeah.
And how to avoid them. Yeah.
We try at least. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, hopefully some context helped some of you to understand a little bit about, what these numbers mean. We put these out every Monday to update everybody what happened, the week prior. And so every month we want to make sure that we're updating you on what happened as the month as a whole, but not just, here's some data without context. So hopefully the context helps and helps you understand what the market's doing and can help you make an educated decision if you're thinking about making a real estate change. We're here to help. We're here to inform. And
we do foresee that things are going to, as far as inventory goes, that's going to shift as well. There'll be some breakthrough there. So the market is still in a very positive trend right now.
Yeah, we seem to be going into, spring season usually starts in March, sometimes starts in February. Just in the last couple of days, I've noticed that daily we're starting to see more consistent listings, which is fantastic. Hopefully that will, get things moving in the right direction. So.
Yep.
All right, everyone.
Yep. Anything coming up on our radar that you need to let people know about, Rach?
We do have we're starting a new video series called Meet the Zeal that we're very excited about. We're filming our first episode on Wednesday. It will air next week, Monday, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday. Just a really cool, we want to highlight, we're downtown Zeeland. We love downtown Zeeland. So we're going to be interviewing different downtown Zeeland businesses. Just talking about who they are and what they sell, and hopefully get some people down spending some money in downtown Zeeland and lifting up our community. So, that's kind of our next big thing that we're excited about. And
awesome.
All right.
Look forward to it.
You guys have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.